Hey guys, what's up? It's Jasmine. I usually prep before I go live, but I didn't really do any of that. I'm just going to kind of start. I'm just going to start by saying that I hope you are well, or as well as you possibly can be, given the circumstances of existing. It's Jasmine. Hi, thank you for joining. I was going to say good morning, and it's giving 3 o'clock, so good afternoon. I hope you're all well. I am stoked because there's so much to discuss. I need it to be made very clear that we are in such a potent energy right now as we move into I keep wanting to say 2024, into 2023. And so I want to talk a little bit about the winter solstice that's happening, the last new moon of 2022 that's happening, how to work with them when we may be feeling. I also want to immediately say that if you're watching this, if you're not watching this live, hi Lori, if you're watching this before Thursday, the 22nd of December, I will be hosting a new moon / winter solstice ritual, like a goddess ritual to really tap into our divine feminine Shakti. There's going to be a lot of like little elements to the ritual to really charge our potency as far as like releasing and manifesting and walking into this new year with like clarity and intention and empowerment looks like. So it's going to be really decked out. If you want to join that, the link is in my bio. Gonna be a good time, donation based, whatever you want to offer. I just have a really like extensive ritual that I was going to do for myself, and if you guys want to join me, it's gonna be really powerful. So that's all. But anyway, on to what's going on. Thank you for joining. So this week on Wednesday, I believe, on the 21st, we have the winter solstice, and on Friday we have the new moon in Capricorn. So there's really potent energy right now when it comes to newness and shift and transition, especially because with the new moon being in the sign of Capricorn, and there's going to be many other planets that are also in cardinal signs, particularly Jupiter that has spent its last day in Pisces. It's moving into Aries. There is this cardinal energy which is charging up our intention surrounding initiation. What do we want? And do we have clarity around what it is that we want? As far as intention setting goes, what I would really invite you to do is focus less on taking action and more on getting clear. I think if we begin to initiate or manifest before we even have awareness or clarity on what it looks like or why it is that we even want it for ourselves, that's when we begin to stumble and fall. So it really is this invitation to honor the fact that we are moving towards Mercury retrograde, which I will talk about. That we want to honor the energy by recognizing the fact that it is more about observation, being in our bodies, getting clear on what the vision for the next year is rather than initiating the ideas, right? Just getting really clear. So what I want to say, alluding to Mercury retrograde, which I believe Mercury retrograde, we're in the shadow period of it right now, but I believe it's on the 28th. What I will say is hi, thank you for joining. Oh my God, I miss you so much. It physically hurts me. What I will say is that with Mercury retrograde on the horizon, there is this invitation to work with the winter solstice and this new moon to set your resolutions instead of waiting until like the last week of the year, which is what most people do, because of the fact that Mercury retrograde, typically when we set intentions or make plans during that period, it tends to go maybe not according to plan, always for the betterment of our own good, but typically when we're setting resolutions, we want to do so outside of like a retrograde period. So I would use this winter solstice or this new moon, right? So Wednesday through Friday, and bleeding a bit into Sunday as well, to really get clear on what it is that you want for yourself. I would make a vision board, I would journal on it, I would come to my ritual that I will be hosting on Thursday. But otherwise, I would use this time while we're still outside of the retrograde. We're still in the shadow period, but we're not in Mercury retrograde yet, to just get clear on what it is that you want. And like I said, this isn't about taking action, but this is about having a very clear and immersive vision on what it is that you want to feel in 2024, what it is that you want to call in, who you want to be. And because this is the winter solstice, I would really take the time to reflect back. And if you have any like tangible evidence, maybe you were journaling around the time, I would go back to the summer solstice and look at what was I setting intention for then? Where was I at mentally then? What has transpired since then? And what has the events that have happened since the summer solstice and the winter solstice informed about what I want to set intention from here until the spring equinox? Another element to this is that because we are working with Capricorn energy here, we're moving into Capricorn season. Mercury retrograde will be in Capricorn. The new moon will be in Capricorn. We have a lot of cardinal energy, like I said, with Jupiter moving into Aries. There is this invitation to make goals that are tangible and realistic. Now, mind you, you define what realistic is for yourself. I'm not saying realistic as in shrinking your dreams, but rather do not just make goals that are like, one day I want to be a mother of 5. Like, make goals that you can touch, that are tactile, that you can arrive at between now and the spring equinox. So I think whenever we work with Capricorn, Saturn energy, there really is this element of like what makes sense and what we can sort of feel in a logical manner. Hi, thank you for joining. So yeah, what I would do, like I said, just to recap for those of you just joining, instead of waiting until the end of the year because of Mercury retrograde, I would invite you to set resolutions and intentions for 2023 between Wednesday and Sunday, particularly Wednesday through Friday because that is the solstice and the new moon. And I would invite you to make these intentions and these things that you want for yourself, not only to have immersive clarity on what they are, like really, really, really getting clear, not on what you need to do, but rather what it's looking like, what it's going to feel like, and also just like why it is that you are calling in for yourself. And I would set a time on them because we're working with Capricorn energy to be things that you want to manifest or that you want to stepping into 2023 from now until the spring equinox. So in order to do that, I think in order to water these intentions, you want to water them with gratitude for what you have already called in for yourself, particularly since the spring equinox. That's a lie. Since the summer solstice. My brain is everywhere. I hope that you are following. Look back at where you were at over the summer, what you set intention for over the summer, what has come into fruition ever since then, what you have learned since then, and let that inform and also be the gratitude that you nourish your intentions with moving forward. So yes, you want to set resolutions now, check on anything that happened for you since summer solstice. And like I said, I think the element and like the key component here is to be very, very, very clear on what it is that you want. So if you are a vision boarder, I would do that. If you want to just journal on it. And also if you want to just find a safe community and a safe space where your intentions are held and nourished, and just talk to your friends or to your family or to wherever your sacred community is about like, what is it that's happened since the summer solstice? What are you calling in? What are you moving forward desiring for yourself because of everything that you've learned this last half of the year? And just get clear on it and really get to a place where all of your senses are immersed in what you are manifesting. So think about what you want to feel like every single day in 2023, or at least until the spring equinox. Hi, thank you for joining. What kind of circumstances you want, what it is that you are physically calling into existence for yourself moving forward from now until the spring equinox. Another thing, like I said, is that we're going to have so many planets in cardinal signs. In particular, what I think is really important is how Jupiter is interacting with this transit in the sign of Aries. The cardinal signs, right, as a recap, there's fixed signs, there's mutable signs, and there's cardinal signs. And cardinal signs are known as the signs that rule initiation and new beginnings and just what it means to create. So I think if you are looking for any direction as far as what to manifest or to call in for yourself, or simply the energy that you want to walk into 2023 with, it would really be, what do you want to initiate into your life? Mind you, like I said, we are in this hibernation state. The winter solstice marks the true mark of winter. And I think with Mercury retrograde coming in as well, this is not a time to take action. This is really a time to rest in the knowing that you can receive while relaxing, and that you don't have to you don't have to upend yourself in order to gain. You can rest in the knowing that, like, as long as you have a clear vision for it, and as long as you have maneuvered your life to walk in the direction of what you want, that in itself is so much of the work already done. But I would wait until March, low-key, to like start taking action towards things. But as far as working with this energy, this really is a call to action when it comes to getting clear on what it is that you want. So like I said, join my ritual on Thursday if you're available for that. And another thing that I would say is, if you haven't already, this new moon is gorgeous for deep cleaning and physical space purging. So if you haven't cleaned, or if you haven't gotten rid of things, if you haven't decluttered in any ritualistic way, I would use this new moon to do so. And like, because it's Saturn rule, I feel like Saturn rule this energy that it's just really, it pays deep attention to detail. So like the things that you don't typically clean, the things that you don't usually dust under, whatever you kind of usually just like vacuum over and move on from, like really pay attention to what it means to deep clean your space, so that the energy is moving fluidly as we move into the new year. And otherwise, as we're in this period of hibernation, one thing that I would journal on or just sit with is, what does it mean to use boundaries as a form of manifestation? So two things here: boundaries, manifesting, and also recognizing the fact that the winter solstice marks our relationship with an even amount of shadow and light. And so this is an invitation to also look at how have you been demonizing your shadow side? How do you need your shadow side to uphold and nourish your light? And how do you need your light to contrast your shadow? So really getting into a comfortable place with both the dark and the light of you, and recognizing how valuable both parts of you are. So if you haven't embarked on any shadow work, now would be a time to do so, but from the lens of wholeness rather than healing. But inevitably, of course, wholeness is healing. And also the second part to that is, how can boundaries be used to manifest? So recognizing the fact that you may be your own block for whatever it is that you are calling in for yourself, maybe because of a lack of boundary, either with someone else or with yourself. So recognizing, because of the fact that we have this Saturn energy moving in, there really is an invitation to look at where is there a lack of boundaries, and how is that informing any stagnancy or any delay in your manifestations. If there's something that you need to say to someone, or if there is a place where your energy is going and it's depleting your energy so that you don't have it to pour into your manifestations or what you're calling in for yourself, a boundary is necessary. So as a recap, set goals that are tactile, that are tangible, that are realistic within, of course, the knowingness that there is nothing that is not able to be yours, right? Me trying to use words, but like, don't let realistic mean that you need to dim your dreams, but rather sit with what it means to want things that you can already taste, feel, and touch from now until the spring equinox. Really ritualize and set resolutions and intentions with this winter solstice and the new moon, because once Mercury retrograde comes in, we're going to be focusing less on like what we want for ourselves, and more going internally and doing what we usually do during Mercury retrogrades, which is survive it, but also really be in that assessment, not necessarily doing or figuring out, but rather just kind of witnessing and adjusting period. Really hibernative. So you want to make sure that you are getting clear on what your intentions are now, so that you can use that period to kind of rest in the receiving of it. Get really clear. And yeah, like I said, reflect on how you need to honor your shadow as much as you need to honor your light. If there's a part of you that you perform as, and there's a part of you that you kind of demonize or keep hidden from the world or hidden from your relationships, now's the time to look at why have you demonized that part of you, and how can you begin to nourish your shadow just as much as you would your light, or be proud of your darkness as much as you are your light. I think I've been working a lot on that, because I just find that I can come off as like a very rabbit-like creature, but there are a lot of parts of me that are very rat. We cannot be looking at shadow again. She's fucking me up this day. Yeah, I want to say it's not giving, that's why I want to be careful, because it's not giving shadow work. Because I think Scorpio season and the eclipse season was all the shadow work I needed for at least 2 years. But rather, our shadow selves, building a more intimate relationship with our shadow selves, and bringing them a bit more to the forefront as far as like how we present ourselves go. I am much more comfortable in the acceptance of the fact that I'm like very selfish sometimes, and I'm like mean, and I'm very grumpy and like moody sometimes, and that is part of me that I have shunned away, a part of my shadow self. And I think this winter solstice is coming to say, where does your shadow self live, and can you bring them to the front door a bit more with pride of the fact that they are reflective of your humanity, and that your light is reflective of your divinity. But ultimately, we chose to be in this human incarnation on this earth for a reason, to experience the fact that we get to have complexity emotionally as these creatures, and we should honor that. Oh, thank you, my love. Well, I'm wrapping up now, but the recap will be there. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy this. I've totally been leaning more into my shadow self and being more kind to her. She's not that bad, you know? Yeah, lately I've been like, my shadow self is like kind of that girl. Like, I realized me shunning my shadow self was also me shunning like my teenage self. And I feel like, even with like chipped nails right now, like normally I would demonize this, and I'm like, no, I kind of like the fact that there's parts of me that are dirty and like nasty and grungy. And I think the winter solstice really is fertile soil to reintegrate your shadow self into your light, and to hear her or them or him, and just to honestly get into a comfortable space with recognizing the fact that like it is within your duality that you find your humanity. If you were just the light being, or if you only presented yourself as a light being, you would be missing such an important aspect of who you truly are. And you'd be missing out on the fact that you chose to, like I said, incarnate as a human. We could have just been little spiritual spirits in the ethers having a good time. We chose to come here, and we chose to indulge. And another part of why I've been working with this is that I think in my spiritual journey, I have kept myself abiding really tightly to rules about what it means to upkeep my spiritual hygiene. And I would demonize anytime I would, go out and drink, or when I would, just indulge in the pleasures of human life. Thank you so much. Not well said. And lately I've been recognizing the fact that my shadow needs to experience the grit of being human. And the grit of being human means hangovers and dancing until your feet really, really hurt, and passionate hookups, and sleeping in, and just, things that maybe don't mainstream wise align with what it means to be a spiritual being, but recognize the fact that we are the merriment of both. I hope that makes sense. That was a slight tangent, but I think that is what I'm really going to be focusing on this winter solstice. How can I honor my humanness and still aid in my spiritual upkeep, all that stuff. Otherwise, happy winter solstice, happy new moon in Capricorn. I'm so excited about this. I think this is really fertile energy to work with right now. And then the last week of December, do as little as possible. I really would advise you to do as little as possible. I mean, go out for New Year's, obviously, if you want to, but that energy is more of and this is more of I hope that makes sense. Anyway, sending you guys all my love, and I will see you next time. And if you want to join for the ritual on Thursday, sign up in my bio, or just hit me up and I'll give you all the deets. Bye, guys.